Hey guys, Noah Best Drummer here, back with episode 5 of Contempt of Court. So I haven't recorded this in a few days, as you guys know, because I've been pretty busy lately with Christmas and New Year's, and the room where I record all my videos is also the room where my sister is staying right now, so it makes it kind of difficult to record, but that's okay. I'm recording it right now. I'm going to record a big chunk of videos. You're all going to get them back to back. So I'm going to try and get through this trial segment and then get through the investigation segment. That's my goal for today's recording session. So let's just go ahead and get started. I don't remember a lot of what happened, so when we get into this trial, I'm not going to be able to recall all the shit that's happened so far in this case. So you guys will just have to bear with me. This is also going to be difficult because the logic in the flashback trial was not the best. The way that they came to the contradictions didn't really make much sense to me. So this trial is probably going to be pretty similar. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. So it is March 28th, 9:44 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. You're kidding! He knows who Mr. X is? When he recognized the picture, his face paled a few more shades. He ended the meeting then and there. But we'll find out today. He's the prosecutor. Maybe it was a prosecutor he knew from another trial? I mean, not every defense attorney's perfect, right? You're not exactly giving me confidence. Ah, Mr. Wrong, there you are. Nick, it's... Oh. It's Mr. X. Mr. X? That's what you've been calling me. It was Nick's idea. What? You shouldn't have bothered I need to figure out a voice for this guy. You shouldn't have bothered coming, Mr. Not Quite Right. It wouldn't make a blind bit of difference to your client whether or not you are here. What's wrong with his eye? Maybe a small introduction is in order, perhaps? My name is Errol Brisbane. Errol Brisbane? Have I heard that name before? You're Vincenzo's client 5 years ago. Ah, and so the penny drops with a terrible clang. I take it that blue-haired creep told you all the previous backstory? No matter how hard I try, I just can't look him in the eye. What's up? Something got your tongue? Forget it. I don't care for what you've got to say anyway. I just came over to introduce you to the harbinger of your ultimate failure. Where's Maya? Don't tell me she ran off and left me with him. You know what I find to be the key to overcoming your opponent? Intimidation. If you cower your opponent into a state of fear, they're powerless against you. Powerless! Fear? This guy could invent his own phobia with the way he's glaring at me. He hasn't even blinked. Wait a second. What was it Detective Snow said about him? Will he be the prosecutor for tomorrow's trial? Yeah. Actually, he requested this trial. Requested? Get down to the detention center and ask your client. Visiting hours are open. I forgot to ask Vincenzo. Wonder if he knows this guy is the prosecutor. Mr. Brisbane, did you specifically request to prosecute my client? Oh, I get it. Snowball spilled the beans, didn't he? Why do you want to prosecute Vincenzo? Why do I want to prosecute Vincenzo? Why do I want to prosecute Vincenzo? For doing a lousy job at defending me, that's why. But he got you a not guilty sentence. Oh yeah, sure, and I suppose losing an eye was part of the process. But that wasn't his fault. Well, I could stand here all day and have this lovely chat with you, fellow lawyer, but I have a criminal to lock up. I'm dreading this trial. Hey Nick. Where did you disappear to? I needed the toilet. Appear, Psyche-Locks, appear! Oh, look, here comes Vincenzo. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Again. Miss Faye. Morning, Vinny. Sorry I'm late. It's okay, we still have another few minutes before the trial. I see you've met the prosecution. The last person I'd expect, and how ironic I spoke of him only last night. What's got into him? I have no idea. This is the first I've seen him since that trial. He was so timid and nervous. He feared criminal and hated them just as equally. Do you suppose that's why he became a prosecutor? It makes sense. But what could he possibly have against me? The trial is about to begin. I'll have to take my place in the defendant's chair. Why do I get the feeling he feels down on himself when he said that? Don't worry, Vincenzo. Things will turn out just fine. Unless he loses his eye and turns against me in 5 years' time. Okay, I need to work on my voices. I'm not doing so well right now. I'm also speaking a little bit quiet, so I'll try to fix that. Court is now in session for the trial of Vincenzo Cicatrice. I must say, Mr. Cicatrice, it is sad to see you again under such circumstances. To see a great defense attorney accused of cold-blooded murder. I hope I never hear of such a thing again. Are you done? Yes, quite. My apologies. Are the prosecution and the defense ready? Well, what do you think? Earl Brisbane, is that you? When I heard Mr. Brisbane was to appear in court today, never did I believe it was you. You've changed. Indeed. Not your lucky today, is it, Judge? That makes two of us. The, defense is ready, Your Honor. Are you sure, Mr. Wright? You seem very uncomfortable. Because I'm in a staring contest with the big scary guy over there, Your Honor. Oh dear, is Mr. Not quite right? Scared he's gonna lose? So I'm disappointed. You of all people should have picked a defense attorney with even the slightest shred of competence. But then again, we all know about incompetent lawyers. Don't we, Vincenzo? Brisbane really doesn't like him, does he? Doesn't look like it. But why? I'll go ahead and make my opening statement if it's all the same to you. Verglass Bridge, blah blah. Vinny stabbed Grossberg, blah blah. Midnight, blah blah. The end. Got a problem, Pops? No, of course not. Then there's no problem. A tad brief, but nonetheless, I said there's no problem. Rah! I appear to have dropped my pen. What about you, Mr. Never Right? Anything wrong? That does it. I'm changing my name after the trial. No, the defense says no. Good! All I needed was a simple no. Waste less oxygen. Let's see, I think I'll start by summoning the detective investigating the crime scene. 2 detectives are on the case, but I'll explain the business of the other one later. For now, Detective Jake Marshall will take the stand. Any problems? But of good! Detective! Get in here. At this point, I'd ask your name and occupation, but we know what you do, so just tell us your name. Jeez, partner, you sure got your britches in a bundle. I'm Detective Jake Marshall. It was my duty to keep watch of the gold mine at the bridge. A gold mine? Detective, where's the gold? Oh, the fuck off Windows security. Detective, where's the gold? I demand you tell me where the gold is. He means the crime scene, Pops. And he's about to tell us what he found. Well, are you gonna testify or not? Relax, compadre. I'm just getting started. You'd better. Poor Detective Marshall. What about me? He's gonna turn me to stone if he glares at me for much longer. He hasn't blinked once. I was assigned to the case along with Detective Snow. I was to keep watch of the crime scene, but I have no idea where Snow went. I arrived at the scene about 1:15 p.m., I reckon. This here photograph shows what was found there. The victim's body, a playing card, and a prospector's badge. The size and position of the bloodstain proves the victim was stabbed in the heart. When I saw the murder weapon near the body. It's got no prints, but the victim's blood is on the blade. And that's all for now, folks. May I ask you a question, Detective? Shoot. Very well. They don't call me the quick draw judge for nothing, you know. It appears the senile old fool misunderstood the cowboy. He meant to ask your question. I knew, of course. I was just... Then it is my sincere advice that you stop wasting this court's time. How many people would you say have scared the judge, Nick? Nick, where are you? Down here. And, I have one more thing to ask you, Detective. Why exactly were you at the crime scene? It was my job to keep an eye on the place and cordon off the bonanza to the public. Surely you ain't pinning this whole mess on me. You'll regret it, partner. Save your suspicions for the cross-examination, right? Huh? I didn't say I suspected anyone. Cross-examination, now! This Brisbane guy is starting to remind me of someone, but who? Probably Von Karma, to be honest. Jesus Christ, look at that eye. Okay. First press. Why did you go along with Detective Snow? He's been out of detective work for a mighty long time. I was there to give him a helping hand, as you know. Detective Snow has been out of work? Is this worth pursuing? Yeah, sure. How long has Detective Snow been out of work? Snowball's clear has nothing to do with the crime. Stop wasting time with stupid questions, Mr. Wrong. Indeed, Mr. Wrong, this query is irrelevant to the topic at hand. Don't you have a pen to search for, Your Honor? I think that shut Mr. Not Quite Right up. Now, Detective, what was your part in this little crime? I was to keep watch of the crimes. Okay, I already read that. Okay. Press again. Was Detective Snow supposed to have met you there? Nah, that ain't it, partner. He told me he had to go investigate somewhere else. Confidentially says. That'd have to be my office. I wonder if Detective Marshall knows something about this. I'm just gonna keep pressing every single time. Detective Marshall, do you know anything about where Detective Snow went? Deaf as well as intellectually challenged. He just said he didn't know anything! Pinning the blame on whoever you can see, I hear you're pretty good at that. But I never even said enough! Detective, continue with your testimony. Yes, Detective, continue if you please. Oh, stand up straight, Your Honor. That posture doesn't do your back justice. You know what? I gotta be honest, I actually really like Brisbane right now. He's actually kind of badass. But, anyways, let's continue pressing. 1:15 p.m., are you sure? As can be, compadre. And this is what I found. Draw! Who just said hold it right now? That was me, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, does the defense have something to say? Guess I kind of jumped in without thinking. Nothing, Your Honor. Sorry. Patience, my confused foe. Hey, I said sorry. Okay then, Detective, what are these items we see here? Detective Marshall, I was wondering if you could tell us more about... the playing card. We already know a lot about that. Let's go to evidence. The playing card. There's a smidge on it. There's not really much else in that. I would ask about the prosecutor's badge. Personally. Prosecutor's badge. Yes, that was mine. You gave it back to me yesterday, remember? Mr. Brisbane, why was your badge at the crime scene? I merely had a few words with the detective. Huh? But I ain't... Not you, Detective Robert Snow. But anyway, my badge has nothing to do with the crime. Detective Snow, should he depress us with his arrival, will vouch for me. Just get back to the testimony, partner. I'm gonna ask about the victim's body now. Okay, the victim's body. That hunk of buzzard food? Sure. I took my steed Zippy and got down to the crime scene. They were just removing the body. He was covered by a sheet, but I was told his name was Marvin Grossberg. They already had the body tape laid down. Okay, playing card now. The playing card. Funny that. We found a single playing card near the body. The King of Hearts. Had a smear of blood on the front. The victim's blood. In fact, this smear led us to the arrest of the creepy-looking guy over there. And how does it cast suspicion on my client? Look at the blood. Does the smear look like anything you know, partner? Vincenzo's scar. From this, we can gather that the victim recognized his killer, and with his dying breath, scrawled this here mark to suspect the defendant. What the? Order! 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 Why, yes, that does seem to make a lot of sense. The victim, in a desperate bid to name his killer, made this mark with his own blood as a form of identification of the killer. The defendant's scar. Ugh, I was right. I knew the mark meant something. Does the defense have anything to say regarding this? I would say add it to the testimony, yeah. Your Honor, the defense requests Detective Marshall add this to the testimony. Understood. Detective Marshall, please add this information to your testimony. Okay. I already asked about all that, so let's continue pressing. Are you sure? Didn't have to be, compadre. Looky here. The blood stain's pretty mighty, and on the left side of the body. This suggests the victim was stabbed through the heart. Plus, I had a few copies of the autopsy report that clearly state the heart is penetrated. I guess that pretty much proves it. And this is what did him in. Draw. Has it been proved to be the murder weapon? Dang straight. You don't waltz into a duel unprepared, partner. And here's how I prove it. No prints at all? Not a one. Must have been wearing gloves or something. This is the last one, I think. But how do you know that for a fact? It was a mere whimsy at first, partner. We tried looking through record after record till finally we came to the defendants. And after a bit of research, we found he was connected to the victim. You put two and two together, you get the varmint sitting in the defendant's chair. It's not looking good, Nick. Thanks to that playing card, they think Vincenzo did it. But what should we do? Vincenzo didn't do it, right? Right. Then we need to prove the mark on the card has nothing to do with his scar. But how? Maybe we should take a closer look at that card. I'm sure there's more to it than meets the eye. Okay. I can't remember if this is the same card as the Enigmium one from the flashback trial. It might actually be, but let me look. I wish I could like actually examine this, but I can't. Let's look at yeah. The blood smear is the same as the defendant's scar. He has a grudge. I don't know if I should bring this out yet. I've pressed everything, so I have to prove that has nothing to do with it. And to do that, I should bring up that there's some blood that was found in Titus Crump's mansion. I think that's what they want me to do. If not, then I'll figure it out. Right here. And how exactly does that prove? Does that part of the? And how exactly does that part of the card prove a bigger picture? This is the part where you're supposed to say, "My finger slipped," right? My finger slipped? Your Honor, Mr. Wrong likes to waste time an awful lot, doesn't he? Perhaps a penalty is in order? Sorry, Mr. Right. My gavel slipped. Damn. Now were you done, or are you still trying to prove a worthless point? I'll try again, thanks. We'll now show that there's more to this card than meets the eye. What? Oh, I had to present the card itself? Okay. I'm not really sure, to be honest, but I would say probably this lighter blood here. You can see my cursor. I'm moving over the lighter blood because it looks like following this, there's a trail of blood that was there before, but it's kind of faded now. So I'm gonna say like right there. Right here. Okay, well. Okay, try again. What am I trying to show? I'll try here then. See if it does anything. Never mind. Okay, I might have to look at a guide for this one because I'm not really sure what's going on. Okay, I'm back and I looked at the walkthrough and I was on the right track. I just didn't choose the right place, I guess. So that's kind of stupid. But apparently it's down here. I don't know how, but right here. What am I supposed to be looking at here, Mr. Wright? Take a very close look at the card, Your Honor. Wait! I can see faint traces of blood? My point exactly. What if the victim didn't just make this curved mark with his blood? What if he wrote more? You mean... I do, Mr. Brisbane. What if Mr. Grossberg actually wrote something on this card? So you mean... Yes, Your Honor. What if these traces of faded blood actually formed a word? Don't be stupid. If the victim really did write a word on this card, then why is part of it faded? Huh? What do you mean? Geez, do I have to spell everything out for you? I said, why would most of the blood be faded if he really did write something? He does raise a good point. Why is part of the blood written word faded? The killer wiped it away. That's simple. The killer saw what Mr. Grossenberg was up to, so they tried wiping the word away. But then they saw that a certain part of the word looked like Mr. Cicatrice's scar, so they wiped the blood away, making the I gotta start over. I'm mixing up my words. So they wiped the blood away, leaving the sponge that looked like the scar. That's why Mr. Cicatrice was arrested as a suspect. So you think the word on this card is the name of the killer? It's possible. Why else would the killer go through so much trouble to wipe the word away and at the same time frame my client? Go on then, Mr. Big Shot Lawyer. What does this word say? Huh? Me? You started it. We're resorting to playground taunts, aren't we? Talk about being on the spot. Can I prove what the word on this card used to say yet? Yo, this music kind of slaps, not gonna lie. Like, let me look at this. I'm breaking my neck trying to figure out what this says. I honestly have no idea what this could mean, what this could say. I don't want to have to look at a guide again, but I honestly have no idea. I want to say not yet because I just don't think I can prove it yet. I don't want to look at the guide. I'm going to say no, not yet. No matter how closely I look at it, I just can't read it. I'm afraid the defense can't identify the word just yet. Ha! On top of which, the blood is too faded to be read clearly, but I'm sure we could find a way in time, though. That sounds plausible. Very well. The defense has permission to find out what this card says. Whoa, 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 whoa! Mr. Wrong. Query. Yes? Let's just say you carry out your pathetic investigation after the trial, and discover that Grodyberger really did write a word on this card. What will that prove? Don't you see it, Brisbane? If I can prove that this scar was originally part of a word, it will prove Mr. Grossberg didn't suspect Vincenzo Cicatrice at all. Tisk. That's where you're wrong, not quite right. There was a witness who saw the moment of the crime, and he says he remembers a distinctive scar. This scar, in fact. A witness? Could it be Titus Krump? Judge, we need a short recess to prepare. Already? I'm sure the court is perfectly content without 15 minutes. Recess. Now. The court will now take a 15-minute recess. 15 minutes? This is my chance to find a way to analyze the word on the card. I need to get in touch with Detective Snow. Court will reconvene in 15 minutes. Something for reading faded blood? Is there a light bulb over my head? Do you have an idea? No, I mean, is there actually a light bulb over my head? Of course I have an idea. See, there's this girl who's been pestering us down at the precinct for a while now. Some kind of scientist wannabe, if you ask me. Anyway, she once gave us a bottle of stuff she always boasted about having too much of. Emma Sky. Some kind of gift to bribe us into giving her a job, no doubt. Anyway, I got the solution. Luminol spray. You spray it on a surface and the faintest of residues of blood show up. Perfect, that's just what we need. Where is it, detective? Where is it? Yeah, we need to find out what the blood on this card used to say. Yeah, and quick! Aw, jeez. You never told me to bring anything. Your career future shines, detective. Alright, listen mate. What if I ran this card down to the precinct and sprayed it? I can phone you and tell you the results. Well, it's better than nothing, I suppose. Jeez, this is my career on the line here, mate. I'll call you when I find out the results, okay? Court will reconvene in 2 minutes. What? I thought we had more time. Snow took longer than I thought. I don't have any theories yet on who did it. I mean, Brisbane looks, like, extremely suspicious, but I don't think he did it. I think it's a red herring, to be honest. Court is back in session. Mr. Brisbane, are you now prepared to summon your witness? Don't you worry your shiny head about it, Judge. He's right here. Mr. Krump, in here, now. So it is Titus Krump. Name? Titus Krump. That is my name. Occupation? I say, have I seen you somewhere before, my boy? Yes, you have. Occupation? Yes, I remember now. You're that Brisbane chap, are you not? Yes, I am. Now answer the damn question. Yes, please answer the question. Very well, I see you have not the time for unimportant banter. I am a millionaire of sorts, and therefore do not require what you people class as, yes, I know, a job, and so you're retired. If you so desire to call it that. You witnessed the murder of Verglass Bridge, yes? Tell us what you saw. Murder! Oh, a murder of the most ungodly proportions, my boy. Two bemused individuals meet under the Star of Destiny. A flurry of mockeries, a wave of panic, a swish of silver, and then... a fallen body! Am I getting deja vu? You and me both. I remember you now. You testified as a witness to a murder some time ago, didn't you? Millionaire, yes? Aha, the honorable judge remembers. How strange that I am again the only witness to another murder, don't you agree? Would you be so kind as to tell the court what you witnessed, Mr. Krump? Oh, but of course, it will be just like old times. It was approximately midnight. I was standing outside my home taking in the night air. Then I heard voices on the other side of the gorge. Fearing the worst, I rushed to obtain my binoculars and saw two gentlemen near the bridge. Suddenly, one of them pulled out a knife, a gleaming blade in the cold dark night. And through the man's heart the cold blade did sweep. So you heard raised voices on the other side. Grabbed your binoculars and saw the murder occur. Maybe your honor would care to get a hearing aid? What? Excuse me, Mr. Brisbane, there's nothing wrong with my... Then why are you repeating what he's just said? Ah! I was just asking the witness to confirm the facts. Then why, Mr. Brisbane, please desist. I personally do not have a problem with the judge merely echoing the facts. So please, calm down. Fine then. He calmed Brisbane? Yes, well, anyway, Mr. Wright, would you begin the cross-examination? Gladly, Your Honor. Okay, I didn't see anything immediately suspicious. Taking the night air, yep. Taking in the night air?
Yes, I do like a little fresh air. And you must agree, my boy, there is a certain freshness to the night air, especially the cold, crisp air of the mountains. So I went for a stroll around the village.
At midnight?
Beg your pardon, dear boy?
You went for a stroll around Neville at midnight? Isn't that a bit late?
Yes, well, I believe night is in its full glory after the 12th bell chime. Imagine, my boy, the whole world sleeps, even time itself is still.
Please answer the question honestly, Mr. Krump. Why were you out at midnight?
That's enough of your pathetic grasping at straws, Mr. Wrong. The fact is that Mr. Krump went for a stroll at night because he likes the night. What is so hard about that for you to understand? But I had scarcely left my porch when...
Did you see anyone?
Yes, 2 men. But keep in mind, dear boy, that they were some distance away.
How much of a distance?
Struggling, are we? Here, look at this. This map shows Verglass Bridge and part of Neville. These squares in Neville represent the closest houses to the bridge. The large square at the top surrounded by a small river is Mr. Crump's house. You can confirm this, Mr. Krump? Indeed, my boy, that is my beautiful house. So the other side of the gorge is approximately 150 yards away. As a bonus, I've marked the locations of the involved on the map. Indeed, I moved down there when I inspected the situation more closely. Proof enough, Mr. Wrong. Judge, add this to the record, now.
The court accepts this into evidence.
I could scarcely make them out. I heard. And can you identify the voices you heard?
I had never heard the 2 voices before, but I can identify one of them as the voice of the defendant.
My client was present? Are you sure about that?
Oh, indubitably, without a doubt.
Strange how he would remember a voice he never heard before.
So it appears Mrs. Cicatrice was present at the crime.
Uh-oh, this isn't looking good.
Is there any chance you made visual confirmation of the 2 men at the time?
Funny you should say that.
Fearing the worst? What does that mean exactly?
Well, they were shouting, so I guess I automatically assumed something bad would happen.
And did you get a good look? Did you get a good look at the 2 men with your binoculars?
I could not see the second man. The other was blocking my view.
But I spied. What does that say?
I espied a large scar.
Looking at the defendant here today, I am certain it belonged to him.
Ugh, the scar gave him away.
My, are you sure about this witness?
Absolutely. There's no mistaking that scar.
I admit it is rather distinguished. So Mrs. Cicatrice was insistently one of the 2 men at the place of the crime.
That can't be true. There must be a gaping hole in what he said just now.
Are you okay, Mr. Wright? You look like you have something to say.
Add it to the testimony, yeah. Didn't say so, it wasn't really there. So why is Mr. Krump so adamant about seeing a scar? He must be up to something. Your Honor, the defense would like Mr. Krump to add this information to the testimony.
Very well, if you believe it is relevant information.
I do.
Witness, will you add this information to your testimony?
I can't see the harm.
Well, I don't think he could have seen his face. Because in this he's... Actually, no. He could have been facing down, I guess. Because that's where the bleeding is. Okay. You know, I'm just gonna press it. No, go back. Are you sure it was my client you saw, witness?
What? You mistrust the opinion of me, a poor old man, where murder is concerned?
Don't worry, witness. Mr. Wrong has a reputation for doing this type of thing. Well, he's not exactly poor.
It was him. I saw that scar of Vincenzo Cicatrice.
To what we found in his house, I feel really suspicious of Titus Krump.
I agree, his testimony must be full of lies.
But where should I start?
Well, it's weird how he said he saw Vinciso at the crime scene. So I'd say we need to find out who the men he saw really were.
Ugh, I'm not sure. I guess I'll just keep pressing. Which man took out the knife?
The man nearest the bridge unsheathed the death blade. He was tall when compared to the other man who was shorter and, quite portly.
Sounds like Grossberg, all right.
Nick, that's no way to talk about poor Mr. Grossberg.
What did I say? That would be the knife in the court record, yes?
Well, I don't know. I only saw a flash of silver I took to be a knife. On top of which...
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't want to look at a guide, but I honestly have no idea what, like... Should I try the crime photo? Or... Wait, no, I have more evidence. Oh! If the killer was, like, facing towards the victim, then he couldn't have seen the face. I think that's it. I think your eyes are playing tricks on you, Mr. Krump.
Excuse me?
Take a look at the map once more. The markings on this map are correct, Mr. Brisbane.
Of course they are. I did them myself.
Just as I thought.
What?
Look again. You said you saw that the man blocking your view of the victim had a scar, Mr. Krump?
Yes?
If you were standing where this map shows you were, you wouldn't have been able to see the killer's face. So my question is, how did you know he had a scar?
Well, the gentleman, I can't remember.
Of course you don't remember, because you never saw the killer's face, did you?
Order, I say. Indeed, witness, how were you at all able to see the killer's face? Well, that is a good question. I do not know how, but I saw that scar, the defendant's scar. He was there. That's the truth.
I'm sorry, Mr. Krump, but if you couldn't see the killer's face from your position, then I find it very hard to believe you.
Are you feeling pleased with yourself, Mr. Not Quite Right?
What?
Because I wouldn't celebrate so soon if I were you. Mr. Krump, you really don't remember, do you? What? Remember what, my boy? When I was talking to you during the 15-minute recess, you told me the killer momentarily turned his head to the side. Oh, yes, of course. How could I be so negligent?
The killer turned his head? Are you sure?
My memory is not what it used to be, my boy. But Mr. Brisbane just brought it all back to me, yes. And that's how the witness saw the scar.
Your Honor, the defense requests the witness to rectify his testimony with this information.
I'm not sure, Mr. Wright. Is the fact that the killer turned his head before the murder important?
Yes, absolutely. It's very important. I believe a contradiction lies within that statement.
Don't be stupid, Mr. Wrong.
Very well. Witness, amend your testimony with this information.
But of course.
Okay, now things are hotting up.
I saw a scar. Forgive me, please. I haven't been very reminiscent of the murder so far. But I did see the killer had a scar on his face. He and the victim were talking. Then he turned his head to the right. Possibly to check for anybody around that could have been watching. That is how I saw the scar on his face.
You seem very insistent on seeing the killer's face, witness. Before I let the defense begin the cross-examination, do you stand by what you have just said?
Yes!
Nick, the earthquake. Easy mistake to make when Titus Krump bellows.
Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
I think I already know what it is, to be honest. He turned his head to the right. No. Because his scar is on his left side, so if he turned to the right, he would only have been able to see the right side of his face. So, yeah, no. So you're sure the victim turned his head to the right?
I do believe I know my right from left, confused lawyer person.
Oh, really? Because I don't believe that.
Enough with the cryptic crap, Mr. Wrong. Will you just spit it out?
Very well. Mr. Krump, would you care to state what side of the defendant's face the scar is on?
My pleasure. It is obviously on the left.
Well done. I believe you're catching on. If the killer turned his head to the right, as you said, the scar still wouldn't have been visible as it is on his left side of the face.
What?
Ah, you're right. Witness, you couldn't have seen the scar, could you?
But...
I'm sorry, but you can't butt your way out of this one. I ask you again, Mr. Krump, did you really see the scar?
Yes! I saw it, 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 I saw it!
Frank saw it?
Then how at all were you able to identify the killer as Mr. Cicatrice?
Oh god, no. No.
I'm afraid that unless appropriate proof is presented, we have only a word at the moment. Mr. Wright, please continue the cross-examination.
Okay. It glitched out there, I don't know why. Okay, that's how I saw the scar on his face. So he's saying the killer turned his head? I don't buy that for 1 second. If he is telling the truth, I should look for a reason why the killer would turn his head. If he's lying, I should prove he is and present some evidence. I'm gonna press that. Is that the only direction he turned his head?
What do you mean?
Did the killer turn his head left as well as right?
That's impossible. Look at the map again, Mr. Wrong. Look at where the killer's standing. If he turned his head to the left, he'd be facing a cliff. So I tell you, Mr. Wrong, that's impossible.
Ugh, he's right. And why did he turn his head to the right? Speed check for anybody around that could have been watching. That sounds unlikely, Mr. Krump.
Beg your pardon?
The murder took place at midnight in the mountains. Who would possibly be in the area?
I admit it does sound a tad bizarre, but have you forgotten about,
Why has he stopped? Mr. Krump, why did you stop talking just now?
Excuse me?
You're going to explain how it was possible that somebody could have been around. And then you stopped talking. Why?
Me? I was about to suggest that, somebody in Nevo could have been around.
Do you really think so?
Well, it would make sense, my boy.
On the contrary, it would make no sense at all.
Oh, how so, Mr. Wright?
Allow me to explain. Witness, which direction did the killer turn his head?
Why, right, of course.
And there's where you just slipped up. What? As you can see on the map, Neville is situated behind where the killer is standing. So my point, Mr. Krump, is that if the killer was looking around for any witnesses from Neville, then he would have looked behind to him, not to his right.
Why, that's correct. That would be the logical thing for the killer to do.
There would have been no reason for him to look to his right.
I think the defense has by now proven that Mr. Krump must have been mistaken. If the witness saw the killer turn his head to the right, he wouldn't have even known about a scar.
Mr. Krump looked like he's gonna explode. He does look rather angry.
Witness, are you alright?
I have never been so insulted in all my life. I have had about enough of you law people and your contradictions.
Mr. Krump, please calm down.
I come down here and you treat me like a common criminal. That is it. I've had enough. Titus Krump, come back here.
That old guy, he did it. He must have done. Did you see how fast he ran? He's quick for an old man.
You got something to hide, I know it.
For heaven's sake, somebody go after him. Stop him. After what felt like hours, the judge eventually managed to calm everyone down.
Bailiff, call the police department and tell them to go after Titus Krump.
What was that all about? I don't know. If you ask me, he was probably being defensive. You mean, you think he did it? I don't know. But why did he act like that? He was like a different person. Looks like Brisbane's as clueless as I am right now.
Well, this trial has certainly taken an unexpected turn. I'm afraid the trial must be postponed until we can recapture the witness. We still have yet to hear his full story. Court will hopefully reconvene tomorrow. Court is adjourned.
Okay. So, defendant lobby number 3. Do you think they'll catch him? Well, he's about 70 years old. How fast can he move? On top of which, he's bound to have gone back to his mansion. I'm sure the police will catch him. Even Detective Snow should manage that. Nick, behind you! Please, Maya, this isn't the time for jokes. No, seriously, it's
Mr. Wrong.
Ugh.
You've got some nerve, scaring off my only witness.
What did I do?
There was something different about him. I first saw him 5 years ago when I was accused of murdering my friend. I can remember Titus Krump perfectly, but there was something different about him today.
What do you mean?
I can't put my finger on it, but something's changed about him, especially when he flipped like that.
This might sound like a stupid question, but did he smell of rubber?
Maybe. What's it to you?
The rubbery smell. And both Titus and these scraps are rubber. What does it mean? Nick, your phone!
The Steel Samurai. Ha!
Ugh, why am I blushing?
Anyway, I have to go.
Hello, this is Phoenix Wright. Harry, is that you, mate? Oh, hello, detective. No, Phoenix Wright. Oh yeah, that was it. Phoenix Wright. You've got to come down to Neville quick. Why? What's wrong? Did you find Titus Krump? No, I'm calling you for absolutely no reason. Course we found him. Well, in a manner of speaking. Oh god, is he dead? What do you mean? He's been murdered. Oh god damn it. Oh, I predicted that one. Okay, I did. I think I just peeked the microphone. My bad. Jesus Christ. Why is Phoenix saying that? Okay, anyways. What? Whoa? Whoa? Who? What? When? Where? Why? How? Come down here quick and see for yourself. Okay, where are you? In Crump's mansion. I'll meet you outside. We'll be right there, detective. What's up, Nick? Titus Krump has been murdered. What? Come on, we need to get to his mansion quick. Right, let's go. Okay, so on that bombshell, I'm going to leave this episode here. So next time, we're going to figure out what the hell is going on.